poaching the fish. Sorry, my pan. I'm probably size. You're poaching it right in this fumet. Okay, so I'm getting all that flavor. I'm getting all that great flavor. The fish is sitting right in there. You can also get the same flavor in the bag. You know, it has some herbs. It's got a little butter in there. It's got some of the fish stock before it got melted. It's got some of that jelly. So I'm applying heat. I'm getting that jelly melted. I have the butter in there. That fish is picking up all the flavors. Where this makes sense to me is banquets. I've always had a firm belief that banquet food should never be any less of an experience than a la carte. And you go to a lot of places, and even some decent hotels, the banquet food is totally different than eating in a restaurant. And a lot of that, again, is philosophy, because you can cook the same great food, knife cuts, you can still, you know, we did banquets. We weren't a huge operation, my last job, but, you know, about 8 million food and beverage. Banquets anywhere from, you know, 50 for a wine dinner up to maybe 300 to 500, a couple events at 1,000. But everything was done out of the menu. There was no hot box. I think the hot box we used for to warm the plates. Everything was batch cookery. So a brigade of cooks behind the line, cooking in batches, putting it through the pass. 5 cooks, chef sauce. Everything, wait staff, 2 at a time. That's how plates went out. No friggin' trays. Because food deserves the same respect when you're cooking for 50, 100, 500. However, do what you can achieve. Doing duck breasts for 1,500 people, probably not so smart. How are you going to achieve that? It's crispy skin, it's cooked right. I went to a banquet that had duck breasts. They didn't think it through. But the one thing where sous vide can come in handy is cooking food consistently, like that lobster, like sole, braised meats. You know, one of the things that used to really aggravate me in the fall is we do a lot of short ribs. We do a lot of different dishes with braises. And when the line got busy, you could see the cooks put the short rib in there, get it in the damn oven. You know, speed was of essence, maybe more than quality. And all that work we did to prepare that dish was all of a sudden go in the pot because they just wanted to get it out. So, and I know some people will take short ribs. You know, you see these menus today, 72-hour short ribs. Sure, I'm taking food that's been cooking for 72 hours. Because there's something wrong with those 72 hours, I guarantee you. But cook classically, cook the braise like you learned it here, get all that flavor, let it cool down, fry back your portions. Put some demi-glace in it, get some knobs of butter in it. Then on service time, that bag goes into a circulator or a warm pasta machine, open it up, you have beautiful braised food. The way you plan to serve it and cook it in busy operations. Some operations, you know, when you go to these really fine dining restaurants, there's 18 cooks. You know, you go to Trotters, there's about 12, 15 people behind that kitchen. There's some restaurants pumping out 220 with 4 cooks behind the line. You can still do great food, and that's where some of this stuff comes in handy. So it's managing it. It also helps manage your inventory. There's nothing worse than wasting food, throwing out food. So one of the good things that cryovac does is raw meats and stuff, you cut them, you butcher them, cryovac. It gets shelf life. Leftover food, better shelf life. Cooking fruits, we talked about infusion before. But the best thing to me is multiple volume or multiple outlets. The White House in Washington. You would not believe how small the kitchen is in the White House. It's literally, God, probably double this line. It's not anywhere near that. It's not even half. What they have is a battery on one counter against the wall like this. So you have 8 circulators. Everything's cooked painstakingly, the right way, cryovac. Then when all these dinners happen all through the White House, basically those circulators are brought up with them. They have finishing pantries. Everything's finished. It's a smart way of doing something based on, here's my location, here's all my venues. I still need to get quality product. How do I do that? Because people don't realize how, you know, they see these big events on TV, but basically those kitchens are flown in. When they have a big event outside, kitchens flown in, set up, kitchens flown in, and they're like catering kitchens, and that's how they produce. But for inside the White House and all they're doing, it's all done sous vide, it's all done with circulators. So that's where things make sense. Not doing it to be cool, not doing it because, you know, it's the newest thing to do. But it doesn't have application. But more importantly, is I challenge any cook or chef is to make your product taste better. If you're going to sous vide short ribs from start to finish, are you telling me that short rib tastes better classically seared, mirepoix, 1/3 liquid, properly braised it, made the sauce. You can convince me of that. I can taste them side by side. Maybe you have a point. Or is the purpose different? If you're going to sous vide the short rib, put it in a circulator, and then sear it and do an Asian-style short rib, yeah, that may make sense. Because Asians don't braise their food. They don't classically develop a sauce during a cooking process. Their sauces are fast, instantaneously, they're very quick. So that to me makes sense. So I've done it that way. And maybe your kitchen's different, you know, maybe, so you have to look at equipment, you have to look at what your goals are, everything you're doing before you decide what to do. And that really is what it's about. So in the classical version, we talked about mussels, we talked about shrimps, and we have some shrimp. Now one of the things, we have fish sauce here. Oh, come on, you didn't do that bad. Rick's upset, and you know, fish sauce didn't come out like you wanted. But a little too much acid, which is fine. But one of the things that, when I talked to him earlier about the sauce, probably more importantly, is it's got a very strong fish taste. It's overpowering to some degree. And Alan, if you look at the cookery like Alan Ducasse and some of these modern classical chefs, a lot of their dishes have chicken jus, veal jus, fish dishes are finished off with some of those jus as flavors. I used to do it all the time. Certain dishes we would do, I used to do a sole actually with foie gras in the middle, and we'd actually have a nice drizzle of veal jus. But chicken stock was used a lot in classical cuisine in the fish kitchen because it helped take that fish stock